Hello, it's me, Marilia. I'm the Lakeside Boomer. I'm so happy you're here. I want to welcome you to the gumshoe part of my channel. I'm excited to share that with you. Here is where I use astrology and explore it to see if it's going to work as a forensic investigation tool. I take a crime, cast an event chart, and create a narrative, then compare it to the actual crime if it's been solved, or follow it as it evolves in the media and compare the chart findings to the facts. Will the stars reveal any clues? I'll leave it up to you to decide for yourself, but at the very least, it'll be a great story. Let's go there. Let me give you a little backstory and a disclaimer. I'll preface by saying that I do this as a hobby. Nothing I share here should be taken as factual. This is purely speculative. I am not a lawyer, doctor, psychologist, or investigator. I am a writer, artist, and an astrologer. I have been involved with astrology and tarot for over 50 years. Yes, I am an old youngster. I do not consult, see clients, or provide astrological services. Instead, this is a storytelling art I use and share with you for your entertainment. My work involves weaving a story by interpreting astrological symbols and their mythological archetypes. I'm interested in finding if there is any value in using astrology as a forensic tool to uncover clues, or debunk astrology as ineffective in solving crimes. I'll share the narrative and the audience can rate its value for themselves. The subjects I cover are related to crime, specifically murders. There will be blood, gore, and other disturbing details that may be triggering. If you are sensitive to these topics, you should probably not be viewing or reading true crime videos or blogs. The astrological event chart describes energies at work that theoretically can result in specific outcomes. I take a deep metaphorical dive into the psychological and emotional reactions to points showing up in a chart as activity in a perpetrator's mind. The psychological and mental puzzle interests me more than the gory details of the crime. I apply what the chart reveals to the case and direct my interpretation within that context. Crime affects real people, and I do not want to sensationalize perpetrators whose narcissism feeds and thrives on notoriety, nor do I intend to cause additional trauma to victims' families or disrespect a victim. Therefore, I try to limit the use of images and names wherever possible. Let me give you a little backstory about astrology event charts. They are cast for a specific date and time in a precise location on Earth. A time is required for this to work. There are as many astrologers and techniques out there as there are stars. Okay, maybe not that many, but this is my technique. A brief overview of how I work this chart. A chart is a 360-degree circle divided into 12 equal 30-degree pie-shaped sections. Each section represents certain things. The 12 sections, called houses or places, cover all the possible areas of life. I approach the chart as a place I enter. The entrance is always at the first house. From there, I let the chart lead me to the story. The zodiac sign on the cusp tells me who owns the place and sets its vibe or style. Pretend you are visiting someone's home. You look around and you can tell a lot about them by their decor or the clothes they wear. A planet, the sun, or the moon each owns one or sometimes two zodiac signs. Think of these as an address plaque that contains the owner's name. A particular archetype from Greek mythology represents each planet. There are classics: Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, and Mercury. The sun and the moon are called luminaries and are included. Modern planets are added. These are Neptune and Uranus, and yes, Pluto is considered a planet in astrology. Once I enter the first house's front door, I begin asking questions. What is the house vibe? Who is the owner? And are they home? Some houses have two owners, a classic and a modern one. If owners are home, are they alone? What are they doing there? What kinds of energy relationships are they involved in? Relationships are read in the aspects: conjunctions, trines, squares, oppositions, parallels, contraparallels, quincunxes, etc. Are these good or bad? This data will describe the crime scene. If the owners are not alone, who else is there? And what are they involved in? If they are not home, where are they? And what are they doing? Thus the story begins to evolve. There are many other things that require way too much time to get into and are beyond the scope of this introduction. These include sex, SECTS, which is diurnal versus nocturnal, transits, elements, triplicities, lots, asteroid, orbs, points. Well, you get the picture. Remember, the story is about a crime, not a person. Victims and perpetrators will be represented, but the chart focuses on the crime. The astrologer is hunting for clues in hopes of finding a killer. That was a very elementary spin on a rather complex artistic process. It should help the reader understand astrological interpretation in its language. It is rather mathematical. A chart holds a multi-layered wealth of information. Chart interpretation is similar to a data mining exercise and gets deeply involved. It is up to the astrologer to convert the data recovered from the chart and weave it into a narrative. That is the art. Enjoy. Now let's go there. The Murdoch murders astral chart. The first place we enter is through the first house. This is the crime. The story this chart tells begins here, connects back to here, and ends here. This is the crime scene. Let's go in. As we enter the event, we find the zodiac sign of Capricorn. It is rising at the ascendant at 8 degrees and is hosting the planet Pluto at 26 degrees. The first impressions is it feels dark, earthy, age-controlled, serious, and uncomfortable. Very cold. One intuitively wants to get the hell out of there. The general vibe is severe, scary, panicky, intense, cold, detached. Good old Capricorn can be all these things. The owner is Saturn. This implies a mature, experienced, methodical, serious code energy. An ability to detach, focus, and compartmentalize is indicated. Saturn is a builder of plans and strategies. The mythological archetype for Saturn is Kronos. Kronos is the one who eats his children, a metaphor for how death consumes us. Its energy is harsh. It is the maker and breaker of bones, the grim reaper, and often denotes the end of life. And he has a visitor. His guest is Pluto. Holy shit. This is a killer energy. This is troubling. The power of a mobster, a hitman, a force that operates cloaked in darkness, working from Saturn's place. It is a teaming of two dark forces. The mythological archetype for Pluto is Hades. Hades is the one who takes what he wants into the underworld. It can signify death because here is the holder of the keys to the gates of hell. What has he done in the Grim Reaper's house? Now, let's follow the clues. Pluto is visiting Saturn's house first in this chart and is the co-ruler of the 11th place in the chart. Let's go there. Saturn and Pluto are familiar with each other. That is our first clue. The 11th is a place of acquaintances. Therefore, it can be extrapolated that these two possibly orbited each other's social circles. The 11th is succedent, which means follows the 10th house. In Renaissance astrology, it is said to be the king's favorite, so it depicts favoritism. The recommendation of others gains promotion. It also represents profits, income, or resources of a professional endeavor. Another association is with the mother's money. What does this mean? Pluto has access to help via the mother's money and the recommendation of friends in high places. That's clue number 2. Someone stood to gain from these murders. Who is the killer? Let's do a little research here. What are other situations associated with the 11th house owned by Pluto? Favor or disfavor for whoever initiates an action is one. We need to determine if this house is engaged in benefic, which are good, or malefic, which are bad aspects, which are relationships, to determine if the house is in favor or not. Let's go there. Pluto aspects. Who owns the 11th house with Pluto? It's Mars. Where is Mars located and what else does it own in this chart? Mars owns the 4th house. Aries is on its cusp and Chiron is visiting, indicating a wound that cannot be healed, possibly to the head. Mars is in the 7th house in the sign of Cancer. Let's go there. Who owns the 7th house? The moon. What relationships are engaging the 7th house? A strong opposition and contra-parallel with Pluto in the first place. And this would be considered a malefic aspect and would infer the 7th house and its associations are not in a position of favor. It indicates ruptures in relationships, partnerships, and marriages. That is a very combative and opposing aspect where Pluto and Mars are butting heads and they're not seeing eye to eye, and one gets in the way and tries to stop the other. And these are two combative forces. Pluto is a killer, Mars is a warrior. There's going to be a fight. It's not going to look pretty. The seventh house also relates to open enemies that act against each other. Fugitives and known criminals are also indicated here. And as stated, it is the house of the killer. What are the moon's associations? It associates with the mother, women in general, liquids, alcohol, waterways, private matters, the home, safety, security, and protection. What is the seventh place associated with? We've already said that. The others. It is the house to closely dissect in search of the perpetrator, because this is where he will be found and identified. Clue number 4, the house links with the marriage partner, business partner, and the contracts that pertain to them. This is the opponent in a lawsuit or conflict. Here, the chart identifies the murderer as the marriage and or business partner. Wow, that was quick. Most charts don't work this fast. For better or worse, that's what the chart says. At this point, we can stop here and feel secure that the husband is the killer, or we can continue to learn more about the motive and answer our remaining questions. Personally, I will follow the clues around the chart until I have evaluated the complete 360-degree circle and visited all 12 houses. This will give me the entire story and hopefully answer all my questions. So, we're going to go there in the next video. But most importantly, what was the motive? Stay tuned. Make sure that you subscribe, like, ring the bell for notifications so that when I post the follow-up video to this, you'll be notified. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope that this was something that you can enjoy. True crime community nerds, we find interest in these kinds of things, so I hope I presented it in a manner that was enjoyable for you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you stopping by. Bye now.